Recording. Action.
Hi Parker, how's the week been going?
The week's good. Yeah, I don't know. I think just trying to wrap my head around stuff.
What does that mean?
It's very vague, huh? I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about things that happened in my past. And a couple classes I had just brought up like things from the past, and I was thinking a lot about my stepmom and like the relationship that we've had, and my stepbrother and the relationship that we've had, and I just kind of feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of cutting ties that I've had for a long time, and I wouldn't say that there was any like overt betrayal. There's no like one instance of when I felt like they were like maliciously out to get me. Um, but just people that I trusted, people that I loved, have kind of shown that they're not worth my time. I don't know. It's an interesting crossroads. I think as a 29-year-old, like the quarter life crisis vibe. Um, but yeah, it's like it's this point now where people who I have very willingly and excitedly incorporated in my life are now kind of falling to the wayside.
That sounds hard.
Definitely, definitely hard. Hard, confusing. Uh, yeah, fear-inducing.
How long have they been in your life?
Well, my stepbrother and I were like best friends before our parents got married. Um, and then our parents got married 13 years ago, 14 years ago. Crazy. But then my dad died a couple years ago, and both of them. I mean, immediately before that, and immediately following it, I think they just perpetually didn't do what I expected them to do, or what I had hoped they would do. And like that's pretty vague, but that spans from anything as simple as like being there, emotionally and otherwise. Um,
For you?
yeah, yeah. Or being a family, like yeah. I don't know. That's weird. Weird to think about.
So when your father passed, what happened between you and your stepmom and your stepbrother?
With my stepmom, there was just a pretty brutal falling out. Her and my dad were not at the best terms when my dad died, and she was there. Like prior to him getting sick, there was talk of potential divorce, and then he got sick, and she couldn't split the sheets at that point. So, um, she was there, and she was supportive, or as supportive as she could have been. And then once my dad died, um, there was just a lot of arguments and disputes surrounding the will, my dad's will. And it wasn't even over like a large amount of money or anything, or like items or whatever. Like it wasn't anything hugely significant, but like she fought tooth and nail to get everything she could, and just sort of left a bad sour taste in my mouth. And like me and my brother were both just like she turned the grief process into a lot more than it had to be, because it turned into a legal battle. And as such, like, I think my brother and I are still kind of recovering from that. Like,
your biological brother?
Yeah, biological. And stepbrother, like, before and after my dad getting sick, he just sort of disappeared. Just like wasn't really there. And that just kind of sucks because we were such good friends for such a long time.
So you didn't only lose your dad, but you lost
a
friend, a stepmom.
No, it's a really good way to
closely.
put it. Like any semblance of a family that I would have had, um, they all just sort of left at the same time. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
sounds like it would.
Yeah.
It sounds like you almost have hurt for like your dad too, like that your stepmom and your dad weren't getting along, and
Yeah. Yeah. Um, there's a lot of sympathy for him. Also, a lot of anger towards him, which is interesting. Because at the end of the day, like my brother and I were pretty hesitant to like encourage him to get married to begin with. The fact that he went through it was just like, yeah, he shouldn't have done that.
so you feel betrayed by him as well.
Yeah, a little bit for sure. But then again, I mean, that was his choice. It was his journey, you know. I mean, he decided to go through with it, and he claimed he was happy. And that's where, I mean, his history of relationships, like with his parents and everything, is so twisted that, not so twisted, but like there was always contention. There was always disputes. So um, that's all he knows. I mean, that's how he knows affection.
Mm-hmm.
So can't blame him for perpetuating that. But you're right. I think there is a lot of dispute or a lot of betrayed feelings, which I think I've been pretty good at, like putting to bed.
How are you doing that?
It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work to stay angry. It's
It's
very.
true.
I think at the end of the day, like it's as simple as that. Because I was really angry for a long time, and I don't want to be anymore. So I'm just trying not to be. And I wish there was a formula for like how that happened, but I think it was just time. It was a big part of it.
Yeah. So where do you and your stepmom stand right now?
Very pensively engaging in each other's lives. Um, for a while there, she was kind of overcompensating. And, like she wasn't invited to my wedding, and wrote me an email about how that was a bad thing for me to do
What made you not invite her?
because I didn't want her there. It's as simple as that. Um, she during the 2 years that my wife and I were dating before we got engaged, my stepmom made no effort to get to know my wife or get to know me at that point or continue our relationship or anything. Um, she introduced herself to my wife the first time they met as the evil stepmom.
That's strange. What would make her do that?
She thought it was funny.
Okay. Did you think it was funny?
I thought it was. Um,
You're laughing.
if she didn't mean it as a joke, I would have commended her for how honest it was. But the fact that she meant it as a joke, it was audacious how blind she was to the truth of the matter. Um, so I think that being the case, she wasn't invited just because she didn't get it, and selfishly, she wasn't the mom that I wanted, nor the stepmom that I wanted, and that's not her fault, but it's mine if I continue it. So, um, the way I kind of looked at it, like if uh, if I invited her, I would have just been perpetuating my own dissatisfaction with a relationship that for 10 years had not living up to what I expected.
Do you have any good memories with her?
All of them involve my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really sad because I love her kids. Like I have 4 step siblings now that I call step siblings, but she will always be Darlene. And like, actually, I mean, my step siblings in most instances I refer to as like brothers and sisters. Um,
Except the one?
kind of aside from Drew, yeah. Yeah, the one step brother, he's in a different world now. But yeah, I don't know. The good memories I have, I mean, they more revolve around the family, and she was a part of that, but they weren't central to her existence. So I don't know. No really loud good memories pop in my head.
Are you ready to just give the relationship up?
Actually, we're gonna have dinner with the family on Wednesday, and that's the first time in the entirety of my marriage and relationship with my wife that we're gonna go to her house and have a meal. So I don't really know where I stand on it, other than saying like I don't want to be angry anymore.
Okay.
And I also don't want to be afraid. And I think confronting her, even on cordial terms of like swimming by the house and having dinner, it's sort of like confronting the problem rather than running from it.
So are you planning on saying something to her, or
not specifically, just surviving. That's my goal for the first go around, I think. But I mean, she's like, we're not aggressive towards each other. Like, we'll send Merry Christmas text messages, but it never really goes too far beyond that because I'm hesitant to let her in anymore because I know I'll just get disappointed again. Because I know that I tend to trust people more than I should. And if I let her into my life again, I will then trust her with something that I know she's not going to deliver on.
So how does the dinner make you feel?
Going?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be very calculated in everything that I do there. Because I really don't want to offend anybody, but I also appreciate the gesture. I mean, she invited us, and it's for my stepsister's birthday, who I have no qualms with. So like to victimize her and not go to her birthday dinner for something she had no part in isn't really fair. So, yeah, it's something.
So are you fearful of going, or are you just cautious?
I think right now there's so much going on as far as like work and school and everything that like I honestly haven't thought about it much. It's like I'm just gonna like Wednesday night's gonna come around and I'm just gonna go and kind of wing it and see what happens. But like I'm not overly excited about it, but I'm not. It's by no means like the worst part of my week.
So what happens if you go to this dinner and it turns out great?
I think I would still be really suspect. Yeah, I would. I don't think that would change anything, and I hope that I'm wrong in saying that, but I think if I go there and everything's great, I will still be really hesitant to engage or like let her into my life to any more capacity.
Do you believe people can change?
If they want to.
Okay. Do you think she wants to?
I don't think she thinks there's anything wrong.
She thinks that your relationship is perfect right now?
No, I mean, she thinks. I honestly can't say what she thinks. It's been years since we've had a discussion about the subject, but I think she's really quick to say that it's stop it. I had a thought. She's really quick to say that I did something wrong, and I'm really quick to say she did something wrong. So one of us has to give. So.
Oh my goodness. Is that real?
No, it's totally real.
Okay.